Martha, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. Yeah.
How was your drive over?
It was okay. It was quite long, longer than usual with all the construction, so that's why I was a little late. But yeah.
Yeah, the construction in the city at this time of year is so awful.
Yeah, every place I go just takes twice as long, so.
You just gotta give yourself tons of time to leave.
For sure, yeah.
So before we get started today, I just wanted to go and do like a quick overview of what we've been discussing in our previous session, just to make sure that I'm understanding and not forgetting anything of importance.
Okay.
Does that sound okay?
Mm-hmm.
So previously, we've been discussing how your daughter Candace was recently diagnosed with depression and anxiety.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and how that's just kind of been causing like a little bit of conflict, not only between like you and Candace, but like between you and your husband. You feel like it's making you feel like a failure because you're just taking all of like Candace's struggles and you're putting it on yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And you also mentioned previously that you've been spending all your time focusing on Candace, that you feel like you haven't been there for your other children and it's been impacting your work. Does that sound about correct?
Yeah, for sure.
We also, last session, were talking about some of your goals, and you mentioned that one of your goals was improving your relationship with Candace and building up some better like coping mechanisms to help you better support yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So has anything changed since last session that I should know?
No, everything in the situation, I guess, is pretty much the same. Yeah, I guess I did try to talk to my daughter. I know we kind of talked about that last time. And so I did, because she's been kind of locked up in her room, as I kind of mentioned, and just, being really quiet and everything. So I did go and talk to her, and it didn't really go as planned. I guess I had really high expectations, but we did, I guess, have a little bit of a conversation and discussed a few things, but she was quite, quiet and only giving, short answers, so, that was a little bit difficult to, deal with, but I guess, yeah, we did have a little conversation, so, yeah.
Well, that's really awesome to hear, considering, like you had mentioned, that you really were working towards bettering your relationship with Candace, and that's something we've been working on the last couple of sessions, so that's a good first step.
Yeah, no, I hadn't talked to her in a long time, one-on-one, so I think it was good just, trying to understand what she was going through, even though it wasn't very productive. I hope she knows that I, care and was, trying, or at least saw that I was trying by having conversation with her, so, but yeah, over the past few weeks, it's kind of been the same. She's just been hiding in her room, being very, closed off, and then it's been putting just a lot of pressure on me, with working with, the other children, just not having time with them, because I'm always trying to make Candace's life easier in any way that I can, whether that be through, trying to just give her room in her bed, or give her food in her bedroom if she wanted, instead of coming out, and stuff like that. But that's kind of been, causing tensions with, my husband, and just, the whole family dynamic, and every other, in every area of my life. It's just been, causing me a lot of stress, so, yeah.
So you're saying that you've been trying to adapt more to, Candace's preferences by, delivering her food instead of, making her come eat out with you guys?
Yeah, for sure. Just because, I don't want to harm her anymore, because we found out that she was diagnosed with depression and anxiety about a month ago. And so that was, I guess, in a way a shock, but also kind of relieving, because it was kind of answered why she was acting that way, because she was always the energetic one and very, upbeat and funny, and then all of a sudden she just became so closed off and locked away, and so it really played, it hurts me to see her that way. Makes me feel like a failure, and that there's not a lot that I can do. Even the little things I tried to do, it just feels like nothing works, so kind of feel a little bit stuck at the moment. Yeah.
You mentioned that it makes you feel like a failure and you're feeling stuck. Do you want to elaborate a little bit more on that?
Yeah, I guess as a mother, I've always throughout her whole life before she got to this point, I was always able to help her work through things, and to like be the mother figure and be supportive and protect her. And then now it's like I can't do it. Nothing's working. Nothing that I do is working. Like I can't stop her from crying, and I can't do all the, like life has gotten more complicated. So I feel like as mothers we should be able to protect our children from these things, or be able to comfort them when they're sad. But I can't do that, or she doesn't allow me to do that. So then I feel like I'm not being a good mom, and then I'm not caring for my other children because I'm always tailoring to Candace's needs, and then I feel like I'm not being a good mom to my other two children. I'm just like I'm trying to. It just feels like I'm juggling a lot at the moment. So and it doesn't help with my husband not being able to bounce off ideas from him because he kind of views the approach on how to work with Candace differently. So I guess that's why I feel like a failure, because I'm home more of the time, so I feel like a lot of the disciplining or the working with Candace or figuring out what to do with her falls on me a lot of the time, and I don't have a lot of he's not home, so I can't really talk to him a lot or figure out what to do with him. So that's why it kind of feels like it's been my fault, because she's always been home with me, and then now this has happened to her. So what did I do? I don't know what to do.
So I just want to make sure that I'm completely understanding everything correctly. So you're saying you feel like a failure just because you feel like as the mom, it's your job to make sure that Candace is okay. And you're saying, from what I'm hearing, you're saying that Candace is diagnosed and everything. You're feeling it's more your fault, and that you should be the one to make Candace feel better.
Yeah, like it really hurts me to see her this way. I love her so much, and knowing, like, feeling like I can't do anything to stop her from this pain that she's feeling. It definitely does make me feel like a bad mom, because I want to take all her pain away. I don't want her to feel this way, and then I don't want my other kids to feel like I don't care about them too, because I kind of shield them, or try to shield them from what's going on with Candace, because they're younger, and I don't want them to go through it. So it's quite overwhelming, the whole situation, and making me kind of feel upset a lot too. Like it's almost like I feel like sad or depressed, and it's not. The whole situation is really feels very heavy on me.
It's a very unimaginable situation having when your children go through such a tough time, and as their mother, you just want to protect her.
Yeah, it really hurts seeing her go through that and not being able to do anything. It's very painful, for sure.
You previously mentioned that you feel like you're feeling a little sad, and you mentioned the word depressed. Do you want to explain that a bit more to me?
I guess I shouldn't say depressed, because I wasn't diagnosed with it, and I don't think I feel, obviously, to the extent that Candace feels. And I guess I'd say more sad, because her pain is kind of coming, like when I see her upset, and I feel very sad, and then when I see my other kids say that I'm not paying attention to them, then it makes me feel not great either, and that I'm not doing my best that I can. And then when my husband says that I'm not, it's my fault, or that I could do things differently, and he would do things differently, and then she wouldn't be in this position, and I feel again like, oh, what am I doing wrong? And I guess all of that just makes me feel very upset, and like a failure, like I'm just not a good mom, and I'm just upset with like the whole situation, and it's really in my everyday life, like the day doesn't seem as enjoyable as it used to. It feels quite like I'm in a slump, and everything is just upsetting to me. Every little thing just gets to me. Even at work, the little things just get to me. So
It sounds like you're putting a lot on your plate at the moment right now, between work, your husband, your other kids, and specifically Candace. You just mentioned that you don't feel like your days are enjoyable anymore. Do you want to tell me what like a good day in your life looks like?
A good day would be Candace. A lot depends on Candace, unfortunately, but a good day would be Candace going to school, me going to work. I do enjoy my job. knowing that she's at school provides me with a sense of like security, or I don't have a lot of stress because I know she's safe at school. So a good day, yeah, would be her going to school, me going to work, and then my husband like actually ending work on time and being home when we're all together. If we have dinner all together, that is like a really good day for me, knowing that my whole family's together. So that hasn't happened too often. I know Candace has gone to school. She's going to school 2 days a week now. But yeah, that's probably what a good day looks like. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it makes me really happy that our family's all together again, like we used to be, and all sitting at the table for dinner. Yeah, my family's really important to me, so if we can have a day like that, it's a very good day. So yeah.
It definitely seems like your family is one of your most important things in your life.
Mhm.
And from what you're telling me, a good day is just Candace is going to school, you get to go to work, and you just get to spend that quality time with your family.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. That's a good day. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it brings me a lot of joy knowing that the family's together. And yeah.
I did notice you mentioned that Candace is going to school 2 times a week, which our very first session we had together, you did tell me that Candace wasn't going to school at all, so it seems now she's going twice a week. When did that happen?
Yeah, actually that happened. Sure, I kind of forgot that she wasn't really going to school. It's been very overwhelming, and I forget a lot now, I feel like. But yeah, that happened after actually our conversation that we had kind of talked about last session about having. And even though it didn't really go to plan, I did mention that instead of her walking, like I would drive her. And I think that encouraged her to go because it is a 30-minute walk, so it's not really, it's quite a long walk to get to school. But with my past work schedule, it wasn't easy for me to drive her to school, and so I like was able to switch my work schedule to drive her now. And I think that helps make everything easier for her, because thinking of a 30-minute walk when you're really depressed and have anxiety doesn't help. So yeah, after we had our conversation, like I mentioned that what would be an easier way to get her to school, and she mentioned that, so I was able to do that for her. And so that gives me, I guess, a little bit of time with my with the children, even though it's only like a 10-minute drive. But yeah, so I guess that has improved. She is going 2 days a week. Not enough to pass her grades, but I guess it is a small step in the right direction. So yeah.
So how do you feel that you got, after your conversation, she started going to school at least 2 days a week? I know it's not where you want her to go, but it is still, as you mentioned, you notice that it's still like a small step.
Yeah, I guess I was encouraged when she kind of felt like, yeah, like a small step in the right direction, and that it was a good thing that I talked to her. I was really nervous to talk to my own daughter, who would think, but she's always pushed me away. So this was one time I could actually, it worked out to talk to her, and it made me feel good that maybe my words meant something and they were getting to her, or that maybe she hopefully knew that I cared about her in that conversation and that I want what's best for her. Even though, yeah, we didn't really get too deep into conversation, but at least I was able to, like, maybe my words made a difference to her. So it did feel good knowing, I guess, now that I think about it, that it was probably our conversation that really helped her, knowing that I would switch my schedule around for her just to go to school. Hopefully showed her how much, like, I care and love her. So yeah, I definitely felt encouraged after that. Maybe there's some hope in the situation, because a lot of the time it feels quite hopeless that it's going to stay like this. So yeah, I was encouraged.
How did feeling encouraged, did that impact you in any other way?
I think it probably helped my self-esteem a little bit to be more open to really trying to talk to her more, because as I mentioned, I was quite nervous. So I think it really helped with me. I feel more confidence in, like, knowing that maybe if I do talk to her, it will work out, or might have some positive outcome in some way. And even if it doesn't, at least I'm trying, knowing that I'm doing something. It's better than nothing. So yeah.
So from what you're telling me is that you ended up talking with Candace. You changed your schedule around so you're able to drive her to school so she's more willing to go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's helped you feel a bit more encouraged, which in turn has made you feel like you have more confidence, and it's helping your self-esteem a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's really helped.
Do you want to tell me some other things that you're doing that are managing well?
Well, I don't really.
Sorry, let me rephrase that question. You had mentioned that one of your goals was to help improve your relationship with Candace, and your other goal was to work on like your self-esteem and all that. But it seems like by when you got Candace to go to school, that kind of like helped take a good step for both of those goals. Are there other things in your life that you feel like you're doing that are also encouraging those goals?
I think I have one friend who also has a child who was recently diagnosed with mental illness, and I've been talking to her. So I think talking to her has kind of also helped me with my like self-esteem, or just like knowing that I'm not alone. I know it only goes so far, and her situation isn't the same as me, but it's been helpful. So I feel like that's been one strategy. We don't see each other that often, but she's been helping me understand that, I'm not alone in this, and that many other parents are working through this. So other than that, I can't really think of any other strategies at the moment or on the spot. Maybe they'll come to me later, but she's been helpful. So
Well, it sounds like you have at least one person like on your side, and kind of you're using her as like a support.
yeah, absolutely, she's been really encouraging throughout the whole process. But we only see each other a few times, but she's very helpful. Yeah.
So you mentioned that you can rely on your friend. Do you have any other resources that you are utilizing to make things easier?
Not a lot. I mean, I was able to change my work schedule, so my manager has actually been really helpful in that, and letting her know my situation. That's been really helpful with me working out my schedule, but I don't really have a lot of any family or anything that understand what I'm going through. They've never really understood that. So yeah.
So your manager knows a bit about your situation?
A little bit. I provide her just a little bit of details because, I didn't really mention this last time because it was quite shocking to me. But I had to. Well, Candace has been cutting herself. I recently noticed, and so then I wanted to have less work hours because I wanted to be home to make sure she was okay. Because obviously I don't want her doing that, but it was hard. I didn't tell really my manager that, but I kind of maybe gave hints to it, so I had to let her know that I'm gonna need time off. So I have mentioned that to her. But the reason why I didn't really mention that last week was because it was quite hard for me to come to terms with. It was quite shocking at the moment when I saw that on her arm and tried to ask her about it, but she became scared, and it made me feel even worse than I was feeling before because I didn't know it had gone to that point. And so definitely made me feel like an awful mother, and that I wasn't even able to protect her from that. Like, she's only 13, so seeing her harm her own self and not being able to protect her from that, or knowing that maybe there was something else I could have done to stop her from getting to this point, was pretty, definitely has really played a toll on me, and maybe days just don't feel enjoyable anymore or anything like that because of how sad I am and how just this whole situation is affecting me, and knowing that she's harming herself, it just makes me feel like an awful mother, and because I don't know what to do next or how to support her through that. So
it's not easy seeing someone that you love so deeply be harming themselves. So that's a lot for one person to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So you noticed that Candace had cuts on her arm, is what you were saying?
Yeah. just like only like a few, and then I tried to ask her about it, and obviously she didn't really want to talk to me about it, which was hard because I feel like we used to talk about everything together, and I miss, you know, the way it used to be in our relationship. And so, but that, yeah, so she did have a few cuts on her arm. I noticed that last week. So
You mentioned that you noticed it but didn't want to bring it up.
yeah, I guess I was like nervous because I didn't want to push her or make things worse in any way. I didn't really know how to handle the situation. Like I did ask her about it, but I was quite nervous too. And she just hid away from me and just kind of didn't really talk to me too much about it. Bringing it up is kind of quite embarrassing because I can't believe it's gotten to this point. But yeah.
How come you think bringing it up is embarrassing?
I guess because I feel like no other parents really go through this, or not a lot do, and how could I have let it got to this point? Like, moms aren't meant, like, this is not supposed to happen. Like, my daughter was energetic before, and how has she gotten to this point? Was there something I have done, or what could I have done to stop her from harming herself? I guess it's embarrassing because I don't want people to know. Like, people always kind of viewed me as like a good mom, and if I share that, then maybe they won't think it's like, maybe they'll think it's my fault, or there was something I did or something. So I guess that's kind of what makes it embarrassing. Yeah.
So you're feeling like because you found out one of your children is self-harming that it makes you feel like other people are going to view you as like you're the reason she's doing it, and they're not going to see you as a good mom?
Yeah, I guess so. And just makes me feel even worse. Like, as a mother, it just really hurts to know that your own daughter is harming herself, and I don't know really how to stop that. I don't want, like, she doesn't want me monitoring her 24/7. Like, I can't do that. I got other kids, and so I kind of feel a little bit stuck, and
When there's children or anyone that gets like diagnoses of like anxiety and depression, unfortunately self-harming does tend to correlate with those diagnoses. And like a lot of parents actually do end up dealing with like children who end up self-harming after. So it's kind of more of like, it's not like, I don't want to say it's like a normal thing, but when it comes to like having those diagnoses, it is something that happens.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I guess I always feel like it's just me in the situation, but I'm sure many other people go through similar experiences, and I guess, but yeah, it's just quite shocking. Very shocking knowing that she's doing that, because I never thought my daughter would ever do that. So you always think it's somebody else, or it's not going to happen to you, and then it does, and then you don't know what to do in the situation, and it's overwhelming, and just the whole situation becomes very, very chaotic. So
How can we build on where you are now
I guess I just really want to work on like improving my relationship with my daughter. She's so important to me, and I want to improve. Like, I know like the last conversation we had didn't go to plan, but it was helpful in like getting her to school 2 times a week at least. I guess just continuing on that goal, and then I don't know if there's other like support options and stuff like that, but more just continuing on working on my relationship with my daughter in any way that I can, and because I think a lot of it is affecting me and affecting my mental health, and then I'm not able to best be a good fit parent because it's affecting me so poorly, and the whole situation.
You mentioned that you feel like it's affecting your mental health.
Yeah.
In which ways do you mean?
I guess it's causing me a lot of anxiety while I'm at work. I'm constantly thinking of my daughter, and then it's affecting like my performance at work, and even though I've asked for less time, that's been helpful. But it's affecting my work, and then just affecting like my patience with my other children, because I'm so drained from work, like dealing with Candace, and then work stuff, and then my husband, that I just like have such low patience than with my other children. Um, yeah, so just a lot of anxiety and feelings of sadness and distress and pain.
When you're in those moments when you're feeling like that you don't have patience, sadness, and you're just feeling drained, what do you normally do?
Usually I just need quiet, and I try to like just go in my room and get some quiet time, but I don't always have a lot of that. There's no one I can really talk to, or I just kind of go in my room, try to take a few deep breaths before I have to be a mom again and make dinner and deal with my kids and stuff. So, yeah, that's about all I can really do, because I don't have a lot of time alone. It's always with my kids, or driving my kids, or making dinner, or cleaning, or working. So, yeah, if I can just get a few moments alone, that's kind of what I do when I'm like in super, yeah, I just don't get that very often. But, yeah.
Well, it sounds like you have a good coping mechanism. Like sometimes it feels like you're overwhelmed, so you like take yourself out of that situation. I know you mentioned that you can't do that all the time because you still have to, and I quote, be a mom.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a really good coping mechanism to have, and it seems like you know what you need.
Yeah, no, it definitely helps when I can get away just for a few moments, just to breathe and have some quiet time. Helps me, yeah, just reorganize my thoughts and things. But yeah, it's just that my life is go 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 all the time that I don't really get to focus on myself, or I don't know, don't have time to like be a better mom. It feels like I never get the time to work on myself or anything.
Are there any other strategies you'd be willing to try that you can think of to help you in those moments when you're feeling like all those feelings, as you mentioned, like lack of patience, overwhelmed?
I think I'll continue like just trying to have like quiet time, and like or maybe like call my friend in those moments, in those situations, or just for guidance. But I think that's about it. Yeah. I just look for yeah.
So it sounds like you know what you would like to do, and like you want to work on your relationship with Candace, you want to work on yourself, and now it seems like you also want to implement some more strategies.
Yeah, like I think I need help with understanding, like maybe relating to other people or something. Like I'm open to trying new things, because things aren't working very well right now. I know talking to Candace did help a bit, so I want to continue doing that.
Yeah.
But in terms of myself, I definitely am open to new strategies, and any way that will help me like work through this situation, I think would be very helpful for sure. Mm-hmm.
So our time is like we just have a few minutes left. Is there anything else you wanted to quickly talk about?
I think we basically covered everything today that like I was really wanting to focus on. Like the goal of like improving my relationship with my daughter. So talking through my feelings was really, really beneficial to me. It just helped, like just talking to someone, getting it off my chest was helpful. So I think we covered everything. I definitely want to meet next week though, for sure.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to summarize what we've accomplished today and what I'm going to do and what you're going to do for next session, if you're okay with that.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So we were starting our session by you discussing how you and Candace had briefly talked a little bit, but it didn't go exactly how you wanted to go. But I think through us talking that you realized there was a small step in the right direction, as you put it, where Candace is now going to school at least twice a week. And you said that you talked with your work and they have a little understanding of your situation, not completely, but you were able to change your work schedule, so now you're able to drive Candace to school.
Yeah.
And you also get to spend, you said it was a 10-minute drive?
Yes, yeah.
And you pick her up from school?
Yes, yeah.
So you get to spend about 20 minutes a day with just you and your children in the car. You also mentioned that you noticed that Candace has been cutting, and you brought up how, sorry, I'm going to rephrase that. You you mentioned how Candace has been self-harming and how that you mentioned that made you feel more like a failure.
Exactly, yeah.
And overall, you just feel like things are still kind of like in the same state as they were last time we've been meeting.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
After we've talked throughout the session, do you still feel like things are in the same state that they were last week?
I think they're pretty similar, but I just have, I guess, more hope that, like, you kind of helped me point out that, talking to her did end up, like, there was some positive outcomes from that, so I'm more encouraged to try to talk to her again. So, yeah.
I'm really glad that you did notice yourself too, that there was some good that came out of your conversation with Candace. I know it's not exactly what you wanted,
Yeah.
but it was still, you did encourage Candace, so that was kind of a step, don't you think?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was helpful that you pointed that out, and yeah.
You also mentioned that you were interested in getting other supports, like maybe you said that your friend was in a support group.
Yeah, she had mentioned that to me and how that was really helpful for her, and she encouraged me to maybe look into that or talk to you about that. So, yeah, I'm open to. I'd be nervous to go in, but I think it would be beneficial for like feeling like that I'm not alone, that other people, hearing other people's stories would be helpful. So.
You
Yeah.
just mentioned that you'd be nervous to attend. How come?
I guess it's just like really admitting that this is happening. This is really happening, that my daughter's like actually going through this, and yeah, just going to like a new group with new people and talking to new people I think would be stressful, but I know it'd be helpful, and I'd be able to do it when the time comes. And knowing that my friend, she said it was really helpful for her, and so I think I'm willing to definitely try it, even if it stresses me out a bit. But yeah.
So that's something you want to do?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I can find some support groups and I can send them your way, or maybe if there's some that you're interested in, you can send them my way through email, and I can send some referrals if that's something you're interested in.
Yeah, that would be really helpful. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Is there anything that you want to work on before we meet next week that?
I guess I'll probably look into the different support groups. I don't know if I would join the same one as my friend, but I think maybe just looking into the different options and times, seeing what time works best for me, because I don't have a lot of free time, but I think I can make it work depending on what's available. So yeah, that's probably what I'll do. And hopefully have a conversation maybe again with my daughter, then we can talk about how it went and stuff. But yeah.
So for next session, you are going to research some support groups and send them my way, and I will send a referral. And you also mentioned you're going to try to have a conversation with Candace again?
Yeah, I'll try to do that too.
Well, okay, Martha, those sound like really good goals for next session. And it was really nice to talk to you today.
Yeah, thank you so much for being so understanding.
And you're feeling okay? I just wanted to do like a last check-in with you and just make sure like everything's okay for you right now. There's nothing that the session brought up for you maybe that you wanted to quickly talk about?
Yeah, no, I think I'm okay. I feel good. Yeah.
Well, okay, Martha, I will see you again next week, same time, same place.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.